Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Catabolic Window, episode 73, we believe. If that's wrong, sorry. Um, as always, I'm very graciously joined by the tallest man on earth, Mr. Luke Schultz. Luke, how you been, mate? How's your week
It was a bit of a violation, bro. It was a bit of an unnecessary violation.
been?
I don't know why that was deserved. My week has been good, mate. So I originally planned to train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and finish up the training block there because I'm going home on Friday, and then I'm going on holiday, and I'm back like next Wednesday, Thursday. But after legs, I was like, I'm so fucked. I can't do another. Like I've already done. What would it be? 6 weeks? Yes,
Mm.
6 weeks. And I was spangled by this point. So I called the dealer. I called the dealer there. I've dropped calories just to sort of estimated maintenance, and I'll see what happens there. And I'm already happy to not be eating so much food, which is very, very nice.
Class, bro. Does that mean you're going to transition into a diet, or what's the thought process behind maintenance?
No, mate, I'm not transitioning. Don't worry.
Bellend.
Uh, so yeah, maintenance is the plan for like the next 2 weeks or so, and then once I'm back from holiday, I will start the diet phase and not be such a fat piece of shit. Probably reasonably aggressive to start off with, and then slow it down as I'm going through, as there's less of me to lose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to get pretty lean, pre-prep diet, as they say. So that's probably going to take at least 3, maybe 4 months, and then I'll have another 4 or 5 months to push up after, which will be pretty good.
Class, bro. You've got to get that maintenance phase in. Don't want to get too big. Don't want to have too much time bulking.
Yeah, this is. I was chatting about this with one of my clients because he was about to go into a maintenance into a deficit, and we were sort of talking about it, and he was like, "What do you think about running maintenance phases?" And I've done them in the past, but to be honest, I think for natty guys, they're not that useful.
Nah. The thing is, I'd say even on like the enhanced side, running a maintenance is kind of like, well, what's your end goal here? Like, you're only really going to recomp if androgens are high. Like, if you've gone from like low to high androgens. So then it's like, well, why are you not taking full advantage of that and being in a surplus? So it kind of almost never like plays any kind of reasonable role. It's usually just kind of useful for like pacing out and working around things. It's great at the end of a bulk or at the end of a cut, just to kind of like set your baselines. So I imagine that I'll probably do a week or two of maintenance after this deficit, just to make sure that we've got body weight stopped before we then add, because we don't want to undo what we've done. And a similar thing, kind of transitioning out of a bulk. I think giving your body a little break, spending a bit more time on higher food, kind of spending a bit more time at that peak performance level, you'll almost clear some fatigue because you're not eating so much and then pulling down. But in terms of like people run them to like recomp, like it's not great.
I wouldn't consider 1 or 2 weeks like a maintenance phase, though. I would just say, like, okay, you're deloading and you're establishing a decent baseline,
Yeah,
so
fair.
you sort of know where to move.
Yeah, yeah,
The only scenario I think where it's reasonably useful is like if you're running, say, a health phase or something like that,
yeah. Exactly,
where you're
exactly.
like, right, okay, I've I've already been pushing gear for a reasonable amount of time. I'm not going to be growing significantly on sports TRT,
Yeah.
so I might as well just chill at maintenance while health gets back in line, type
The only
thing.
time we used one at the back end of the last push up because we were at peak androgen load, but we didn't want to get any softer. So then it kind of was just a case of, okay, well, it doesn't make sense for us to diet because we've not been on peak androgen load for that long, but we haven't really got the wiggle room. So we're just going to hold. But again, ideally, you would have that wiggle room and you would time things a little bit better. But that's just because I changed coach and that kind of fucked the whole plan. And then the
You
only other
fucked it,
time, yeah, I fucked it, mate.
ruined it, mate. Awful client.
Yeah, no prep for me. And then the only other time is like what you've got going on, where ideally you'd probably diet after this gaining phase shortly after, but you've got a holiday, so that doesn't really make sense to do. So, but if you didn't have the holiday, you probably wouldn't put yourself into a maintenance phase. So, it's kind of something that you do more so out of necessity. Like a deliberate recomp is something that I very rarely schedule in for someone unless they've been detrained or lost muscle. like I've recomped this diet, but the plan wasn't to hold body weight and just get leaner. Like the plan was to just push hard, and scale just didn't shift, but visuals did. So we're like, cool, it's a recomp, but it's not something that we've kind of inherently gone in for. Um, yeah, I mean, the closest thing I can think and the most useful thing is just if you're enhanced, you can't take drugs down, or it doesn't make sense to take drugs down, but it doesn't make sense to push food up. But then ideally, you'd not get to that position where like you're fat and on a lot of drugs.
Yeah, like with recomping, I think it's one of those things where if it happens, cool, but you shouldn't try and like get it to happen.
Yeah, it's very hard to make happen. And I mean, technically, it's always happening. Like, in a deficit, if we're still progressing, you're technically recomping. But again, like, yeah, it's not something that you'd usually aim for. Usually, if I'm talking about like recomping with a client, it's going to be like a shallow surplus or a shallow deficit. It's very rarely like, oh, okay, we're going to deliberately hold like exactly where you're at now. Like, if I've got someone who's new to training and I kind of want to vaguely recomp them, I might just put them in a really shallow deficit, because if they're newer to training, putting on that muscle mass, it's going to be really, really easy for them, or significantly easier than it would be for someone else. So you can kind of, yeah, you'll come out the other end lighter, but you'll look a lot better for it. So it's kind of a recomp, more of a shallow diet. Similarly, for like if someone's come back from some time off and they're quite lean, we might just small little surplus, gain a couple kilos and call it there. But the visuals will look better than a couple of kilos, but still.
Yeah, like I remember sort of first couple of weeks when I got back into training after my jaw surgery, like I just recomp, like I
Yeah,
gained
yeah,
like 1 or 2, but I got leaner
yeah,
as I got older pretty quickly, which was obviously quite nice. Nice surprise.
yeah. But that's not, that's just returning to where you were at. That's not like new tissue, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
yeah, that's not something that like you can't. I mean, you can do that over and over, but you're just gonna have the same physique long term, like you, because you'll just go back to like 95% of Luke and then back to 100% of Luke, and that's it. You're not gonna be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
building on what you've got.
What about you, mate? How's your week been?
It's good. 3 more weeks of dieting now, which is class.
Oh yeah. Are you
Um,
skinny yet? Have you lost all your muscle yet?
Actually, things have been, mate. The training has been fucking flying. I'm doing really, really good. I feel good. I'm burnt out on dieting. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I was walking around yesterday and I was like, man, I can't wait for this diet to end. And I was like, but why? Like, I feel fine. I feel all right. I think it's just that, for one, it's that lack of flexibility. So, like, there's a barbecue happening at my place this weekend. I can't eat anything at the barbecue. I literally can't eat anything of it,
That's
because
sad.
the whole point is like Chloe's mum brought too many burgers, so we're trying to get rid of food. So I can't, like, I'll eat my own food, but it's kind of pointless. Me, like, I can't bring my own food. I don't have the calories to have one burger bun, and the only thing I can have is veg. So, and again, the
Ooh.
point is to get rid of food. So they've not bought veg for it. So I literally am going to be eating out of Tupperware. I don't have a solution. Like things like that, or Chloe like will find recipes and be like, I want to make this, and it'll be like some fucking salad or something, and I'll be like, I still can't quite have that. Um, so yeah, there's that, and then also the day after leg days, I'm a zombie, and I really really struggle. So just kind of that feeling of like having energy levels and having flexibility. I could deal with this if I had the flexibility of having untracked meals. I think I could do that, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this being over. But performance is great. I feel great. Work is really really good. Um, yeah, doing okay, man. Doing okay. 3 more weeks. In-person check-in with Tom at Ultraflex Derby, and
Yeah, yeah.
then yeah, fucking get the food will go back in, and then we reckon I'll look a lot leaner, because I'm very flat. And then yeah, although prep's going to be awful because my glutes and hams have really not come in, so that's gonna be a fun one to do. But I'm still at 190. I'm 20 pounds heavier than my last diet, which is fucking
When are you
insane.
starting prep next year?
I think around December, but I don't know.
Oh, December this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you're going to be an early boy.
I'm pretty sure. Um, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about it with Tom. Like I've said to him, like in terms of like my current diet and where I'm at, like I'm at about 1,800 calories. I would be completely happy with one bagel and 50 core. Like add that in. I'm honestly like I'm sweet. I'm happy. So I've said to him like I'm happy for us to take small increases in food, leave cardio, leave steps, calm. And if my body drops, just kind of let it happen. Like I'm fine with this next gaining phase being like a 5 pound push or something stupid, and just like getting leaner and leaner and leaner, kind of like a fucking Leon or like a Brad Physique Collective, a Brad Wymark. You know, like I don't mind sitting at like 190 for the next year and then just having to pull off like 10 pounds. Um,
Well,
it's
it's not the next year; it's the next half year,
oh
isn't it?
yeah, there you go. But I mean, until like the actual show. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely. I remember. Do you remember like when I used to diet before and like I was very like immature about it. Very like I can't wait for this to end, thinking about food and shit, and like I feel a lot more
Yeah, you're
mature.
not food focused now. You're just like what I get to, whereas I just like I'm so tired. Fuck this.
I'm tired, and it's small things. It's like when Tom gave me the refeed, he was like, go to Five Guys. You live near a Five Guys. I was like, nah, just give me cream. Just give me a bit more cream of rice. Like, just give me. He gave me 300 carb, and I was like, I genuinely don't know what to do with all of this because I was like, right, I'd love a bagel a day, and I'd like another core meal, and then I was like, I've got another like fucking 200 carb or something. I didn't know what to do with it. I was having like honey on my berries and like dates and shit because I just didn't care. I was like, right, I'd clustered dextrin on a rest day because I was like, fuck it, I don't care. So it's nice. Like I feel a lot more like I feel like my bulk was almost more food focused than I am now. I think it's the lack of untracked meals has helped a lot with food focus. Like because I don't like I just kind of experience my food. So the best food I eat in a day is cream of rice. So I just want more of that.
What a sad existence.
Yeah, man, dieting, dieting.
What I think I'll probably do is like if there's something that I really want to do,
Mm.
I'll have an untracked meal like during it, but it's not going to be every week type thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the thing is, as much as I said, like I'd like an on-track meal, it's like I was thinking this today because I hit a new low. I was like, if Tom gives me a refeed, I'll probably just pass it up. So it's not really like I'd rather like I just kind of want I want a little bit more food consistently. I don't really care about like oh you can have a burger today, you can have a bit more food today. Or like I'd rather stay where I'm at and then keep on chipping away and then get it done quicker, you know, and then have like an extra 50 carb a day, like calm, you know. But yeah, we'll
What do
see.
you think of people doing like low and high days?
Um, I mean, it's a way of doing things. Like it depends on the reason for doing it. I think I like it a lot with lifestyle clients because you can almost pull their weekly calorie average lower than you could if you set it to the same daily, if that makes sense. So you could probably get them like say if you did three days of like low and 1 day of high, and the average across those 4 days is like 1,500 calories. If you set them 1,500 calories a day, they might not be able to stick to that, but you can almost average that out across 4 days. So I think it's good. Um, I can see the benefits. I think if you're quite sensitive to fatigue, like me, and like you have a leg day and then the next day you feel trashed and the scale's up like 3 pounds, it makes sense. Um, and if there's days where like my weekends are quite busy, so I don't need that much food because I'm just kind of on my feet all the time, so there's less food focus there, so we can pull food away from there. So it does make sense. I don't think it's inherently better. I think a lot of people now get in this idea of like, oh, you're prepping, here's your low day, here's your high day, and it's like you don't really have a reason to do that yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean. From a adherence standpoint, it definitely helps like lifestyle people to have that
Yeah,
in. But I I just find it a pain in the ass a lot of the time.
yeah. Oh,
I'm
mate,
like,
and
I've got
in
to
a
cook
gaining
different
phase,
stuff. I can't be asked.
in a gaining
Like,
phase,
fuck
I
off.
hate it. The most I've ever done with like split rest day, training day calories is just intra. Like that's literally all I
Yeah,
care about.
mine was like literally 200 calories
Yeah, same.
just from like swapping the post meal, basically.
Yeah, like I literally when I don't mind it when like I'm hungrier and I enjoy my food more. Like currently I'm enjoying cooking. Like I don't actually need to meal prep at the minute because I don't mind cooking my meals from scratch. It's quite nice. But when you hit that back end of a gaining phase and food's tedious, it's like I it's not going to excite me, so I just want to know what it is. Like just tell me what my next meal is. I don't want to when you see people run like 5 days plus an intra and then their rest day is like 5 meals, it's a different 5 meals.
Yeah,
Like
that's jarring.
I can't do that, man. That's crazy. Like you're telling me you're gonna run completely different meals on a rest day. Mental. I can't do that.
The most you would get me doing would be like adding jam to a bagel, having
Yeah.
an extra bagel, or having a squares bar, that type of thing, where
Yeah.
it's like it's there, done already. I'm not doing like potato one day, rice another day,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then different amounts of rice for certain meals. Like, fuck off, man.
Exactly. The most I've done is like if my post workout meal is quite sugary on a rest day, I'll probably cut that out. I'll probably have it a bit more starchy. Like if I've got like cereal post workout, I don't want to just randomly halfway through my day eat a bowl of cereal. So either that will like get swapped for something else or pushed to a different time. But usually I just differentiate it with intra, and maybe like, oh, I'm having two squares bars pre on a rest day. I only have one. Like something easy to remember. But yeah, I tend not to like split them that much. In terms of like giving people high and low days, I'm a big fan of like taking someone's, if this is a lifestyle client, and particularly if they're new to tracking, give them the same calories daily because it's easier to use on MyFitnessPal. It gets them into the routine. Also, I think there's something to be said for regulating someone's appetite and building that skill of like, you eat 2,200 calories every day, so they get used to kind of what that feels like and how to make that work for them. Then you'll get to a point where they're like, I don't want food any lower. That's when you start to say, okay, Wednesday's a busy day for you. Can we run that a little bit lower? Can we play around with Friday? Can we, what about a training day versus a rest day? Oh, on a training day, I think less about food. Okay, well, maybe we'll run less food on a training day. Like, as long as it doesn't affect performance in the results that we see, it can't. So, yeah, I'm personally like, I never really fuck around with training rest day for myself. I've got clients who love it. Um, and if you're trying to get the most out of someone lifestyle, I'd say run the food to that point where they're uncomfortable and then play around with it.
Yeah, makes sense. Should we do some questions?
Go on, then.
Okay, mate. How much do you usually have to drop off for lengthened partials in reverse flies and lateral raises?
Jesus, brother, that's such a specific question.
I know.
What, like, how much ROM do you do?
No, weight. Like how
Wait,
much less weight?
I haven't done any recently, bruv. I don't know. Fuck off. As much like, what are they? As much as you need to stay within the rep range and hit failure. Like, it sounds like you're just trying to compare strength. Like, oh, I dropped 20%. Is that quite a lot? I'm assuming they're asking because they didn't drop quite a lot because they're going to retain quite a lot of strength in that length and range. As long as the quality is there and you're training close to failure, you're calm. Like, some clients they'll drop 10% in load, others will drop 30. As long as I'm happy with the footage, it's calm. It just is what it is. Differences in fiber type, differences in energy levels, differences in yada 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 yada. Doesn't really
I
matter.
remember when Steve Hall first started doing them, he was saying like there wasn't much difference and he was noticing strength progression faster. Like he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
able to pick up the weights a little bit more. My answer was just like try it and see.
yeah,
Use your normal weight, see where you fall. If you're still in the rep range, cool. If you're
yeah.
not, adjust it up or down.
The kind of the purpose of the question is quite sweet, but if we were saying, oh yeah, you should usually drop about 2.5 kilo. If you were dropping 5 kilo, it's not as if muscle's not being built. Like, look at your intensity, look at your control, look at your range of motion. Like, we're all going to be different. Maybe there's a few anatomical differences going on there. There's a few different setup differences going on there. There's obviously effort being applied, and there's, like I said, like the type of muscle fibers that you have. Are you slow twitch dominant? Are you fast twitch dominant? Like, just because, for me in general, in terms of training, I can retain strength across a session pretty well. I know people that can't. They drop off quite aggressively. As long as we're both training well, doesn't matter.
Nailed it. Jeez. Next one. Are DOMs more related to training hard or poor recovery?
That's a really good question. I'd say more novelty than anything. Usually, DOMs come about from novelty of
No, mate, sorry,
exercise.
that wasn't an option. You have to pick one.
I mean, well, they're kind of the same, two sides of the same coin, though, aren't they? Like, you know, that's my opinion. What do you think, mate?
I would say if it's like the next day after, it's probably pretty hard training, or as you say, something novel.
Yeah.
If it's hanging around for like 4, 5, 6 days, you've either got shit recovery or you massively overdid it.
That's a very good point, actually. That's a very good point. Um, yeah, I mean, it depends. I feel like either one is usually easier to spot. If you can't quite figure out what it is and you've got DOMs, if you genuinely don't know, it's probably just that you've slightly overstepped it in the gym. Like, you usually know, oh, I was up late last night on TikTok, I missed a meal, I haven't really drunk water in 8 days, and, I haven't had a bite of protein in a year. Like, you're usually going to know. But, like, if you're tracking your macros and you're sleeping like a normal person and looking after your mental health and doing your steps and not missing meals, it's probably just that you did a touch too much volume. But it could also be novelty, like I said, like DOMS tends to be highest when we do something new. That's not new load or new reps. I'm talking about new exercises. So if I suddenly swapped out your leg press for a squat, you might be like, whoa, my quads really feel that. But then 3 weeks down the line, you're like, oh, I don't feel anything. It's like, yeah, that's why. It was new.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying for sure. It's not that different. It's not that crazy. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Mate, you've got food. You're meant to be not tired. I'm meant to be the tired one.
I'm just retarded. Okay, what's the next one I've got?
You got some good questions, bro. I rate this.
Best way to build the top part of your chest.
Train it.
Fuck off. Oh my days, you're a dickhead.
That's true though.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true. Still a dickhead.
if like yeah, just varying the angle at which you train it. The bigger your upper chest is, the more vertical your torso has to be relative to your pressing. So if you've got a huge chest, those kind of very upright presses where you think about that most people think of as shoulder dominant, they're going to be pretty upper pecky. If you've not got much pec, even a flat press is going to get a decent amount of upper pec in there. Do some conversion work, do some parallel work, do some flies, put it at the start of your session, maybe progress volume over time, stay in a surplus, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you need to get a bigger overall chest at the end of the day, but if that will obviously help. But specifically when it comes to improving the upper region, you need to do something which lines up with where those fibers run, so they
Yeah,
come a little bit upwards. So you probably want to move in that sort of path. My biggest pet peeve is fucking seeing something on an incline, and people are like, "Oh, it's inclined, so it has to be upper chest." Like, no, that's
no.
that's not how it works. I could do it on an incline and make it a decline press if I fucking set the cables up that weirdly.
Yeah, or lifted your hips way up, changed like your torso position. When people set the bench up, but then they also set the seat up, so they just lie across it like flat. I saw a guy doing that in my gym the other day, where he
Oh yeah,
had he had the bench on an incline, but he had the seat on an incline, so he was able just to be like his torso was just horizontal, and I was like, it's just a flat press, like you're doing the same thing, just a more unstable bench. Doesn't make any sense.
love it, mate. Works out good. Works out perfect every single time.
Oh yeah.
I feel like. Do you feel like people are more? I feel like the upper chest thing isn't as big as it used to be. Do you get what I mean?
What people struggle? What struggling to build it?
No, like people focusing on it as much. I think people focus way more on the different parts of their back now.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really really good point. I think the thing is, it's like I don't think an upper chest is really that hard to build. It's just usually movements and moving in a way that a lot of people don't, and because they don't enjoy it. Like those presses that you're shit at are going to be the ones that are probably using upper pec. Those are more like higher inclined ones. Um, and like most people don't want to do that because they're strong at the flat ones or the low incline ones. But yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe I think a lot of it is to do with like culture and JPG and like his stuff, and it's been very much the cool thing to like split up the back and kind of train it differently. Whereas splitting up the pec has been something that people have done for a while. You know,
Yeah, I think that's fair.
it is
I
an
think that's
interesting. It's an interesting one. That's true. I think yeah, a lot of people do focus on the chest. I feel like less people as well focus on the heads of the quad. That used to be a big thing when I started the gym. You know, getting the
Yeah.
teardrop bro versus getting the sweep bro.
Did you see my reaction to the video that I did the other day?
Uh, the um the Yanes
Cuff thing.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Like,
mean, like I was talking to Vide Fitness about it because he did the updated
mate,
version.
that setup, the thing that he set up was so cool.
Like I was
I was
talking to
looking
him.
at
I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, I can like you've improved on the exercise definitely. Like it's one to be aware of. Sure, if I wanted to give someone a rec fem, and they had the time, and they didn't have a leg extension, and it was really that much of a priority, it's good to know we can do that. But like you kind of said in the video, it's like 99% of the time, an extension's just going to be a better option. So for those of you that don't know, if you give Luke's recent videos a watch, you'll see that he was on about comparing a Ben Yanes video about a kind of cable made leg extension, which was super duper lengthened, compared to like just a normal leg extension. And yeah, I think the key thing you kind of touched on there, Luke, was correct. And like talking to Vide Fitness, we kind of agreed. It's like, well, I mean, sure, you could do this. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing this. Well, Vide's one. Vide's one doesn't have anything wrong with it. But it's kind of like in a universe where we have a leg extension, why in the fuck are you going for this? It's kind of like vertical leg press. Like inherently, sure you can, but why would you if you have other options? If we've really got no other options and I need something like that, cool, I'll give you that. But it's a very rare situation.
Yeah, it's like it's choosing something different for the sake of being different.
Yeah, like you can already lengthen focus a leg extension. Even then, do we want to lengthen focus a leg extension? You know, like it's one of the few opportunities where we can train the quad in the contraction, and there is merit to that. It's already very, very rec femi. Do we need to make it even more rec femi? Like that's the thing, and that setup as well wasn't easy. It wasn't. Maybe if it was a different setup and it was kind of like here's a good way of doing it, um, in a way where if you don't have a leg extension, you can kind of easily set it up. Cool. Oh, bless you, mate. But like Vide was like, and he made a very good point. He was like, if I find someone in this situation, I'd probably just give them sissy squats. And like, yeah, to be fair, yeah. I mean, the only advantage of what you've got from Yanes over sissy squats is that there's less skill required to do it. But again, like we're really splitting hairs. It's got application. It's just so niche that it's like more so a showcase of biomechanical knowledge than it is of like practical exercise.
Yeah, but even then, there was like clear things that he was missing out on.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it was
Like
misaligned with his
what made
knee.
me, yeah, that's what made me think that, because that's one of the that was like the you can do a little bit more outer sweep or a little bit more inner quad if you angle your leg in a certain way. I'm like, yeah, but the quad doesn't bend that way,
Yeah,
and you're putting it in a way it doesn't bend on a leg extension. It's like trying to do a tricep extension. You've got something pushing this way that's trying to go like that.
yeah, exactly. Like knee integrity is a bit more important than biasing different heads of the quad. The thing about biasing different heads of the quad is I think it's so unnecessary unless you are like an IFBB pro. For the most part, it's going to come down to like pure muscle belly and structure. And like I've seen John Jewett focus on like outer sweep of the quad, and that's John Jewett. You know, and even then he has to be very very careful because he's like, yeah, I'm deliberately fucking around with the joint integrity of my knees, like doing a hack squat in a way where we are putting more force across the external side of the knee. Like you're gonna have to be careful there, and he's doing it for a very niche purpose because it's his job. And like for the most part, I'm sure you've seen it in your clients, but like when a client's like, oh, I want to grow the teardrop, I want to grow the sweep, I'll be like, let's just grow your quads, and then their quads grow, and then they're like, wow, this is sick. I got what I wanted and everything else. Brilliant. I wanted teardrops and I have a sweep now. Fantastic. Like often if you've got a lagging part of your quad, you just need more quad.
Yeah, and the insertion thing is so true. Like, if you've got shit insertions, if you've got straight up and down quads,
Yeah.
you get them bigger, they're going to still be straight up and down because that's
Yeah.
just how they sit.
Just be bigger,
Like,
bigger and blockier. Or just be square instead of oval shape. Yeah, that sucks, but it is what it is. You know, it's like me focusing on different heads of my biceps. I got long biceps. Like, it's not really going to change much, and it's probably going to piss off my elbow and my fucking wrist tendons
Yeah,
or my shoulder.
not ideal. Not ideal.
Less than ideal.
One question we got from this was a couple of weeks ago now, so I apologize for that. Your client, DD Bodybuilding,
Oh, big time.
design of kit.
Design a piece of kit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like we need to put some parameters on this though, because if we say you can design it however you want, we're obviously going to make it perfect in every single regard.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to almost put some constraints of like what you can do.
Okay.
Okay, so if we break it down, like what are the important things about a machine?
Um, I like adjustability. Well, first of all, adjustability in terms of like making it work for different people. So that's pretty fucking important. I think adjusting the profile would be cool, but it's not super important because you can just have an innately nice profile. Um,
I think profile adjustments are more important on back stuff than
yeah,
pressing.
yeah,
Pressing, I think you can get away with it a fair bit more.
that's true. I think the weight of the machine, depending on the lift, either you'd want it to start off quite light or be quite counterbalanced, or you wouldn't. Depends on the lift. So relative to the exercise, how heavy it is unloaded is pretty important. Um, I mean, how you load it. Do we want a plate loaded or a pin loaded as well?
Yeah, I especially if we're saying you want the profile to be adjustable, I think it feels so much nicer on pin loaded stuff.
Yeah, typically, yeah.
On plate loaded, it feels really weird.
Yeah, it's the profile kind of kicks in and kicks off on plate loaded,
Because
whereas on pin it's a bit more.
in order for it to be adjustable, the arm of the machine is curved,
Yeah,
and it can sit like really really weirdly with the path. Like a lot of the prime rows, for example, especially the one where you're laying on your chest,
yeah, yeah,
it it starts to come down a little bit, and then it goes up again like really quickly,
yeah,
and feels horrid.
yeah. The pin loaded stuff is typically a bit smoother. Also, they're like the in betweens of extremes. So on the prime plate loaded, kind of fully end, fully short, fully mid feels okay. But when you start to blur them, you do mid long or mid short, it starts to feel really fucking weird. But on the pin loaded, it actually feels like you can really tell the difference between the five settings. So I think that's a good point. Um, there's nothing other than that like shit that I take for granted, like it being comfortable, having grips in the right place, um, like cable being smooth, appropriate jumps in load, shit like that. You know.
Okay, so we got pin versus play loaded, adjustable profile, uh, path of motion alignment, but that also kind of blurs with adjusting it to different people because people are going to have different paths.
I'd want it to be highly adjustable, like highly adjustable. Maybe like if it's upper body, you could swap out the handles or something, or multiple handles or
Different
something.
grips, maybe type thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think if I had to pick, what do you think, two or three?
What handles?
No, like just important, like most important factors when it comes to it designing a machine.
Do three. We'll just do three. Nice and easy three.
Three. Okay, I would have to say it needs to be well maintained. It
Sure.
needs to be highly adjustable for different
Yes.
people.
Yes.
So we're probably looking at something like with like a big fuck off trailing arm.
Yep.
If we're looking at say a pull or something like that, or presses with different handles, or you can adjust the back pad type thing. And then I think you can't really separate adjustability from aligning it well. I think they are like
They're the same. Aligning it well
yeah,
comes from adjustability.
yeah, and then probably reasonable low jumps.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Really, really important. Yeah.
I hate having to pin shit to the stack. It's so annoying.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Like you also don't want to be using a gym pin from week one. Like you want to have some level of like actual runway. Yeah, you want it to be heavy enough that you can actually like use it for a long period of time, and you know that you're not like gonna fuck the cable, but equally you don't want it to be like a lateral raise where you're like stuck on the same fucking setting for ages. So yeah, appropriate load jump.
Wait, I've changed my mind.
What have you gone for?
I think probably adjustability slash alignment, and then it having a reasonable profile to start off with. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be reasonable. Like I don't want a lateral raise that is all short if it's a machine.
But then is that truly adjustable if it's already come with like this kind of
No, no, no. As in the machine's path is adjustable to suit the person, not the boom
okay.
system
So
type thing.
profile path and potential jumps in load.
Yeah, it's either jumps in load or well maintained. But I think most machines, like if we look at a Nautilus or a Cybex or something like that, you don't have to do much to it in order for it to
Maintenance is
still be
also
good as such.
depends who it's with more so. I think maybe I'd go for if I had to pick one. Maybe I'll go for maintenance over load jumps because you can overcome load jumps, but you can't overcome if the kit completely bollocks itself. Like if it doesn't last.
Yeah.
So we'll go. Fucking can't talk. Profile, um, path of motion, or path of motion congruency and maintenance. It needs to be well maintained. Have a good path. Slash be highly adjustable and have fuck I've already forgotten what the third one is. Jesus, my brain is shutting off now.
What brand do you think does that best?
What
If
brand
you had
does
to
that
pick one,
best?
you can only have their kit in the gym. Who are you picking?
Man, there's gonna be some dead air here.
I want to
um
say Atlantis, but I haven't tried any of their back kit
the
like ever.
the issue, this is an issue because they don't really exist. There's no one good best,
Yeah.
and that's why there's no gym that's like, oh yeah, we use entirely this. I think.
Oh, that is the biggest gym red flag ever. If it's like Watson only facility, like fuck
Yeah, yeah,
off.
because they get a bulk deal if they buy all the same kit, so they buy all the same kit. Maybe
I
I'm
it's
thinking
gonna
like
have to be it's gonna have to be Cybex.
I was gonna say Cybex or even Nautilus because they've got such a wide array of kit that I feel
Yeah,
like you could.
what's the Nautilus leg kit?
Ah, true.
Have you ever used Nautilus leg kit?
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true.
Cybex, the only thing I'm thinking is a bit iffy is pressing,
Yeah,
but then you've got free weight pressing, so it's okay. Because like you've got the Cybex Eagle, which is okay, but it's not the
it's
best
really
pressing.
loved that one. I don't know why. People fucking love it.
Yeah,
It's all
I
right.
don't like what they do with the VR2 and the Cybex Eagle, where it's on the where you can like pull the handles in or pull them out. It just becomes so unstable. It's
Yeah,
horrid.
yeah. Maybe Cybex then. That's a safe bet. Cybex.
Yeah, especially because the Nautilus seated leg curl is it's got the tibia pad.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
Oh shit! Can I take back Nautilus then?
no, mate, you're stuck.
That's a huge no-no in my books. I hate that
You got
fucking
short
thing.
hamstrings forever.
Oh, the tibia pad. The cause
Yeah,
of
I mean
so much knee
it
pain.
makes sense because they're trying to stop the load pulling you forward in the short position, but it just makes it way worse.
Yeah, pad on the quad with handles to push against. Seat in a nice angled position. You should be calm. Like literally any other seated ham girl. Literally any other seated ham girl. The prime one's quite nice. It's angled quite a lot, so it's it the
Mate, I saw Dr. Mike on the Prime one the other day,
oh he
and
misaligns it
I
horrendously.
have
Yeah,
never seen worse alignment.
yeah, it's
It's
really bad.
fucking crazy.
It's really strange. I've got no idea why he does it like that.
I
I'm
want to
assuming
know why he does it.
it must be. It's got to be some level of personal preference, but I wonder. Yeah, I wonder why.
It's so bad that as he gets to the short position, the pad comes off his leg because it shoots up that much.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
He
weird.
kind of gets into like he almost gets into hip extension as he maybe that's what he's going for. As he shortens the rep, he's getting like extension at the hip.
Yeah, but it's weird. Why don't you just do the line leg curl?
I don't know. I don't know. If it's at his home gym, I guess maybe he's trying to recreate it. But also, I thought with all of the current research and interest, he would be like, okay, let's realign this and let's get deeper into hip flexion, surely. But
Mm.
I don't know.
That's another thing that I hate is the fucking leaning forward on the leg curl because it's just bastardized by everyone.
Two things I hate: people putting the pad behind them on the pendulum to lean the fuck forward. They got no idea why they're doing it, and people leaning forward or people rounding like thoracic rounding on a seated ham curl instead of hip flexion. Oh my god, it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, mate, but they feel it more, so it must be working.
Oh, oh lord.
Doesn't matter that they're way more unstable and it's not actually lengthened at the hams,
It's like
at the hip.
when I started training, people used to use lifting shoes when they were doing RDLs because they were like, "Yeah, bro, I feel it more." I was like, "That's not hamstring that you're feeling. If you're changing your foot position, and that's making
I
it
did it
feel
for
so."
ages just because I forgot to take my shoes off. So I can't be asked.
I've only ever used it when I'm trying to do like it does make me more mobile because I do have a little bit of like sciatic nerve restriction in terms of range of motion. So if I do heel elevate, I can get deeper into hip flexion. But again, it's like makes you so unstable. It's like, is it worth it? Plus, I've got that mobility back now from just practicing hip hinging. In fact, I will hip hinge today.
Oh
Exciting
yeah,
times.
you got a real amount of load on there yet?
4 plates.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it was an iffy four last time. So I'm gonna try it again.
It's 4.5 straight away. Just hope it cleans up. You can tidy up form later, mate.
It's been like I have a really weird end point for it, but I did it for like three, and then I did 2 sets at 3 plates for like 8, and none of them were failure. But I was like, okay, this is about as comfortable as I'm letting this sensation get, and as comfortable as I am. The goal is to like with those later sets, I'm going to add load and keep the reps there. With that initial set, I'm going to keep load and add reps, and I want to work them up until like yeah, maybe get a good set of like 8 on 4 plates and then start to slowly add load. But I want it to be like ironclad, like I feel confident. I don't want to be going in with like I don't want to be pulling 190 off the floor with like doubts and feeling iffy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair for sure.
different progression models for different sets in it. Cray
I mean,
cray.
it's got to be the same on every single one. You've got to chase load on every
Three
exercise.
sets of 10 to 12.
Correct. Is there anything else you want to chat about this week?
Um, I think that's pretty much everything, mate. Is there any?
Not that I
Oh,
can think of.
someone's commented on our EAA reel saying EAAs are the biggest waste of money. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that's a bit harsh. I don't think
Big.
EAAs. I don't think EAAs are the biggest waste of money. There's worse ways to waste money,
Yeah, I
but
agree. Like hiring us, that's a big one, mate. Awful waste of money. To be honest.
BCAAs, BCAAs. Now that's a waste of money. Ooh boy.
We'll comment that back.
All right.
Oh, mate, I just went onto my Spotify. Did you know the song? Uh, I don't know if you're gonna get it now. You know the song "I Feel Good" where he like screams at the start.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a mashup of that. You know, in Revenge of the Sith, where R2D2 comes flying through the corridor.
Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Best thing I've ever done is just follow like all the Star Wars meme pages ever. It's so much better than bodybuilding.
Fair. Yeah.
Right, let's post a story up. Jeez. Don't know why I've
Fucking hell.
obscured half my face, but we're going for it now.
The pose. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening and doing whatever. We will catch you all next week. If you guys have any questions for us to tackle, let us know. If you're after physique or strength coaching, hit up LacticAddictLuke on Instagram. And if you're after whatever the fuck I do, it's JackArcherCoaching
Is
on
it? I
Instagram.
saw in your story today, mate. It's coaching, right?
Yeah, yeah. I thought I was being
Fucking.
funny.
I was like, you're a
It's like
retard.
physique and strength coaching, coaching, or coach coaching. I should probably check how many people have interacted with that poll. Actually, that would be a good business move, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Um,
I voted on the joke one.
oh,
Anyway,
cheers, man. I appreciate that.
listening, share it on your story. Uh, Dislike us if you hate us, but if you hate us, you're probably not listening right now. But
True.
regardless, comment because it boosts in the algorithm.
And thank
Let's
you
go.
all for being here. Goodbye, everyone. See ya.